Let's do the rest of this video, or at least another part of it. This is that guy who was defending the pedophile and being like, actually, it's a phebophilia. And he's like the substitute school teacher or whatever. We watched part of this before, and he's basically talking about why he doesn't understand why women want to have sex. He's a virgin, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just interesting to me that he thinks he has an opinion that's informed enough that he should make a 35-minute video about it, and he's never been intimate with anyone. Just seems odd. It would be like if a car broke down by the side of the road, and I pulled over to help him, and they're like, oh, do you know anything about cars? And I'm like, oh, not at all. I don't know anything about cars, actually. I just thought I'd come and tell you what I think the problem is. It's the, it's that thing. It's that one. It's that part. That part, there's something wrong with it. And they go like, that's the windshield wiper fluid cap. And I go, yep, that's it. That's the problem.
I wanted to invest in her, and I wanted to have like a meaningful relationship with her. It's very interesting how that works. So like the thing is like with women, they're very counterintuitive. I don't know if they were always counterintuitive, but I know they're very counterintuitive.
No, they're not. What are you talking about? There are like 4 billion women. What's the population of the Earth? Population of the Earth. Altered written with 10 bits. I just got out of my first class of the semester. It's digital photography, and my teacher showed us a picture he took from a member of the Yakuza when he was in Japan. We're at 7.594 billion. Half of that's women. I think it's a little over half, actually. Just slightly. To say all men or all women are any one thing is incredibly stupid. Makes no sense.
Like in the last, decade.
Cancer's a bitch. It sure is.
In the last 15 years, what should work or what should be is flipped on its head. And the thing that kind of sucks, is hilarious, is it only works or it's only acceptable if the woman wants you in the first place. So like you can't really be a dick to a woman that doesn't want you. Like
you shouldn't be a dick to anyone. What are you talking about? What? Don't be a dick to anyone. Why do you think that that's a good idea in any circumstance? If you're a dick to someone who's interested in you, they're just gonna think you're a dick. Are you confusing, like, confidence and, like, teasing, like, in a, like, jokey way as being a dick? Do you not understand that that's different from actually being an a-hole? They're completely different things.
Like I said, what women are really doing is they're doing a cost-benefit analysis. And the benefit is more than the cost. That's why women stay in bad relationships.
Couldn't you say that about anyone in any relationship?
It's not really that they enjoy the mistreatment. It's not really they enjoy being... Well, some of them do. Some of them are just masochists. Some of them are. But it's...
Okay, some of everyone are masochists. It's an entire subculture. What does that have to do with anything? And even people who are into, like, masochism don't necessarily want people to be mean to them outside of the context where they want to, where they have, like, a safe word.
It's really more, they stand to gain more if they stay than if they leave. That's how they feel a lot of the time, usually. But more importantly than that, because I feel like I'm getting off of the beaten path, like I said, whenever I see women, like, express sexual interest, it's very, very bizarre to me.
I'm sure to you it is, because it's a foreign concept. But I don't understand why you don't understand that women have sexual interest just like men do. Like, how do you think this works if men have sexual interest but women don't? Like, what? Do you think women don't enjoy sex that they're, like, enthusiastic about with consenting partners? Do you not understand how sex works?
And a bit like fake. So I'm gonna give you guys like a little bit of like a montage, just like on TikTok that I've seen, and this is also like on TikTok, it's very eerie. So I made certain to make sure You know what? No, I'm gonna put this in here for a second.
I'll probably skip over most of this. We'll watch one or two so we see what he's talking about, and then we'll move on, because I'm not gonna watch a bunch of people's TikToks provided by this creep.
Because I do think it's important, but I want you guys, you know, like, we're gonna have to talk about that in its own video. But I'm gonna put it in here anyway, and I'm gonna just show you guys a little bit of a montage. You know, there's lots of thoughts on TikTok, but look, check this out.
So when they see me, they make their wishes.
Face too pretty for doggy, ass too big for missionary. Okay, so she's making like a TikTok.
I'm an addict.
This one says, so horny, I told a guy he could teach me how to play Fortnite. Which is funny.
Why the hell is it that damn big? It's bigger than my face. I don't even know where it came from. I ain't never seen one this big. Damn dinosaur size. At least can you explain to me why it's so beefy?
Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead. You get it. It's a bunch of people making TikToks about sex, basically. Bunch of women. And this confuses him for some reason, because I guess he doesn't believe women have genuine sexual interest, which is odd.
So you'll see lots of different girls talking about all the dudes that they want. There's a couple of those in there. You have girls, you know, talking about times they had sex. Girls talking about their favorite positions. Like, whenever I see women do that, a part of me doesn't take it seriously.
Why? Is it a confusion because you're like, well, women like sex, why don't they like sex with me? It's probably because you're awful. You made a whole video about how you think it's okay for adult men to be interested in, like, 15-year-olds. Like, you're disgusting. Just because women have a general interest in sex with people they're interested in doesn't mean they have to be interested in you. If you want them to be interested in you, you need to stop being disgusting.
Part of me doesn't believe it, and I find it to be...
Do we know what subject this dude studied in college? I don't know if he went to college. He's a substitute teacher in Florida, and I don't think in Florida you actually need a teaching degree to be a substitute.
I say cringy. Like, it honestly makes me cringe a little bit when women talk about sex so blatantly and so openly, right?
Why?
Because I've seen my frame of reference, I think, is the problem. It's a direct contradiction to my frame of reference, and even just on some of the comments I've seen on TikTok as well, it's still, you know, it still will reflect this idea of males using women, of males taking advantage of women. Which, let me just kind of pause to say this, which is strange, was also very peculiar to me. You know, women, I didn't even finish that thought. You know, lots of women always say they get used by males, and I just don't understand this. I really don't.
Why? What don't you understand? Women can have a sexual interest and have gratifying sex with some partners, and then other partners will use them. That's a different thing. You understand that? Like, for one thing, you're probably talking about entirely different women. Women are not like a homogenous group. Every woman is an individual human being. Just like every man is an individual human being. So there are some people who've probably had more positive experiences with the opposite sex, or the same sex if they're like a lesbian or something, or bisexual, whatever. So they might have like really positive experiences that they share, or you might have someone who has a mix where they've had positive sexual experiences, and they've also had experiences where someone they thought they were interested in and was interested in them just used them. You have some people who are more interested in stuff like one-night stands and hookups, and some people who want to have sex in the context of like a longer-term relationship. It's like he doesn't understand women are people, and he just treats women as like this amorphous blob of vaginas and titties that all share a hive mind like the Borg.
I don't understand. I know what they mean, but when I say I don't understand it, is I mean, I don't get how, as a woman, your brain allows this to happen. That's really what I mean. When I say I don't get it, I really mean, like, if I were a woman, like, my brain isn't geared the way females' brains are geared to allow this shit to prosper, because I just couldn't do it. My pride just wouldn't allow it. And this is a great example of that. And that's being used. Like, I don't get this shit. Like, I don't understand how as a woman you can be used for sex. Just number one, and just in terms of your pride, but let's just start with number two.
But there are men who get used for sex too. Both heterosexual and homosexual men. Like, you can be used by either other men if you're either bisexual or homosexual, or you can be used by women if you're straight. Everyone could be used for sex, hypothetically. All it takes is you and the person that you're sleeping with to have different expectations, and the person who has a different expectation than you not communicating those expectations or outright lying about their expectations. Like, let's say you're a guy, and you're going in and you have a date with a woman, right? And she just wants to hook up, but you think that this could go somewhere, and you still want to sleep with her, but you're like, okay, I really enjoyed this date, this could go somewhere long term, and like, let's say you communicate that to her in some way, and she says something along the lines of, oh, me too, but inside really she's thinking, I just want to get me that dick, and then I'm gonna head home, and then I'm never gonna talk to this guy again. Like, that would be being used. It's not necessarily a gender thing.
Number two, nigga, you were there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you used for sex if you are also having sex? Like, if you are
because people can go into sexual encounters with different expectations and different, how do I put this? False pretenses can be used in order to get someone to have sex with someone else. Like I mentioned before, like, one person could feign interest in you romantically in a way that sort of supersedes the sexual attraction. Like, maybe you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to do hookups, but you're like, okay, if I think I'm going to be in a relationship with this person, then yeah, we can engage in the coitus and have a good time. So let's say this person leads you on and says like, oh yeah, I'm really interested in going on another date, and then you're like, okay, let's go upstairs, and then you have sex, and then they never call you again, or they never, whatever, they ghost you. That's being used for sex. They led you on and made you believe that there was something more here than just a sexual attraction, when really all they wanted to do was get that nut. Right? That's how. That's the explanation.
having sex with this dude that you find attractive, that you want. How are you being used? Is this nigga just like Doctor Strange you out your fucking body? Just alright, I'm just gonna go explore the multiverse. Use my body like a fleshlight. And you just fly away. Your spirit just flies away while he has sex with you. Is that what you were used? Like, I don't get that. How are you getting used for sex if you're there too?
I just explained it, and I know you can't hear me. I understand it's video. I know how videos work. But I don't understand how you can't understand this. It makes more sense considering this guy's a virgin. Like, he's never had an interaction sexually. But, like, if you don't understand this, why are you making a 35-minute video about it as if it's like some sort of authoritative commentary on the state of women and their sexuality? You have no idea what you're talking about. Again, I'll go back to the car metaphor. Imagine I made a 35-minute YouTube video where I'm like, well, my car won't start. Let me open the hood here. Huh. Well, it doesn't start. This part is metal. This is a battery. It's hooked up. Why do batteries need to be in cars? I don't know. Could the battery be the problem? Why is the battery not wanting to function? Is it like being Doctor Strange and going up into the, you know? Like, imagine I make a 35-minute video pontificating on why my car's broken when I don't know anything about cars. But I still speak with some sort of authority as if I know what I'm talking about. I would sound like a jackass, which is what this guy sounds like.
And you want the guy. So that would mean if you're getting used for sex, that means, I guess you didn't want the guy, or you were trying to get something out of having sex, or you're trying to use it as a transaction.
No, you can have sex in certain situations, but not want to have it in other situations. You might want to have sex with only people you have some sort of deeper connection with, even if it's not like a long-term relationship. Let's say you like connect with a person and you really get along, but it turns out that that person was just telling you what you wanted to hear in order to get sex. That's being used. That's false pretenses. That's that person lying to you to get that nut. right? That's wrong. That happens. If you're going to talk about this, maybe you should have relationships with women.
So here's the long and short of it. What has happened was modernity has turned a lot of women into straight up prostitutes. Because if you're a woman
No.
and you say you've been used for sex, you do recognize that you're trying to say that there is some type of transaction that was supposed to go there.
Or you have specific standards that you set for yourself on when and why you're going to have sex with someone, and if someone lies to you to pretend to meet that standard, then you've been used because someone lied to you.
Beyond
It's not transactional, it's consensual. That's how that works. If your consent is contingent upon certain things being met, like someone like really caring about you, or even just the potential for a relationship, that's not transactional. It's just that you don't want to have sex with someone unless there's the potential for a relationship or something, or if you believe you're in a relationship but once you have sex they ghost on you, right? That's your consent being contingent upon specific factors that are being lied about to you. That's being used. That's not transactional.
the sex. And you didn't get that, so you were the one that was used. So what are you trying to get? Now, of course, I get it. Logically, I get it. You wanted a relationship with Chad. Unfortunately, because Chad has so many options and you're not special, or you were just available, he used you and then he moved on. For some reason, women cannot grasp this concept, but, you know, that's beyond me. That's why.
It's almost like this whole Chad beta dichotomy is complete pseudo like biological bullshit being fed to incels so they don't have to self-reflect and wonder why no one wants to spend more than 10 minutes with them. Weird.
Why their brains don't.
I've explained this before too. This guy, BASSFZz, whatever this guy's name is in real life, I have no idea. Like, this guy isn't unattractive. I think he could do for a haircut, like do something else with it, because it just looks kind of messy as it is and not in, like, a good way. Again, these are my subjective feelings. Like, he can do whatever he wants. But I'm talking about, like, if we're talking about, like, stereotypical attractiveness, he needs to do his hair and trim his beard so it's a little more neat. And he's, like, an attractive, normal-looking dude. He's, like, not unattractive. What's unattractive about this guy is his disgusting viewpoints and how he views women. That's what's wrong with him. It's not that he's some, like, eternal virgin beta. It's that he's an asshole.
Operate like that. I don't get it. That's what I mean. I don't understand. So it's like, how are you getting used if you are also there too? You should be enjoying having sex with this person. If you're not enjoying having sex with this person, you probably shouldn't be having sex with them. If you're starfishing people, if you're getting used, there's some problem there. Something ain't right. You know, but that's just number one. I just didn't like, oh, that was technically number two. Like, if you are in having sex, you are also a participant of what's going on. So then we got to move back to number one of this thing that that's strange to me. It's just kind of like your pride. Like, it's just, there's like a part of me that just cannot allow to be treated or like mistreated in a certain way. You know, you can't mistreat me and I'm just going to take it. Like, I'm going to have an opinion, I'm going to say something, or I'm just not going to deal with you at all. I'm just not going to have a conversation with you. I'm just going to end the engagement there. Lots of women I've noticed, no, they have that shit for little. They have it for me. I guess because I'm not Chad. If I mess up one good right time with a woman, if I do like one little minute thingy thing,
I very much doubt what you consider a minute thing is minute to anyone else. Based on how you talk about women, you probably mentioned some awful view you have, up to and including the fact that you think it's okay for adult men in their 30s to be attracted and hit on 15-year-old girls, as we saw in one of your previous videos. Or you mentioned how little you think of women and this whole, like, incel worldview where you think that there are, like, Chads and betas and all this kind of crazy incel stuff. Like, if you mention that to a woman, of course she's gonna run away. That's not a little thing. It's telling about your personality. That's a red flag. That's a siren. That's a red light special. That's attention all shoppers. We have an incel in the building. Run away. No one wants to deal with that stuff because it shows that you're not a person who respects women. It shows that you're not even a person who respects yourself. Of course people are gonna run away.
That they don't like, I'm gone. Quick flash and in a hurry.
Thank you, MigUR, for coming to the stream.
Chad cheats on them 2-3 times. They're still there.
Probably because the people you think of as Chads are actually, like, decent people who are probably treating them alright, like another human being. That would be why. You don't consider women people equal to you, and that's why people don't want to interact with you.
And I've seen, like, here's the thing, I've seen it, like, I'm not making this up, dude. You know what, I'm gonna make a whole video where I talk about that on its own thing. I will 100% do that, because I've seen it, right? And of course, again, intellectually, I get it. It's a cost-benefit analysis. And their foolishness, and the benefit outweighs the cost. And if the cost is them...
You're literally just describing every relationship, and I'm not even just talking about, like, romantic or sexual. Platonic relationships, although it's a weird, like, callous way to look at them, there is a cost-benefit analysis, right? Like, if you're friends with someone, and they're an absolute a-hole, like, if you're still friends with them, they must have other qualities that supersede that. If not, you're not going to be friends with them. Like, you can look at relationships in this stark, like, cost-benefit analysis way, but I don't think it's helpful, because that's not really how we think about things. We don't think, yes, I must make a cost-benefit analysis of my friendships and relationships. It's just that at a certain point, intrinsically, we realize, wow, this person is not worth it. They're, like, really, really awful. Watch this funny video on Red Pill. Okay, hold on. We'll watch that after this one.
Getting that ass beat, and you're just gonna get the ass beat. Like, it's like, you know, well, I still have a place to live, so I'm gonna...
What? So wait, you think that attractive men who you call Chad are all beating their girlfriends? No. That's not the case. Unless by Chad you mean cop, then there's a good chance that they're beating their wife. But people who stay in abusive relationships stay for a number of reasons. I'm not an expert on this, so don't take my word as, like, you know, law or anything. But, like, often people in physically abusive relationships will also involve emotional abuse. They'll tell people, like, oh, you're not going to do any better than me, you're trash, you're lucky to even have me. There's also fear of physical retaliation if they leave the relationship. Like, there's all sorts of reasons people stay in abusive relationships, and it's not right to insult these people, because people don't stay in situations like that just for fun. They stay in them because they're scared, or they've been manipulated into believing they're not going to do any better. That has nothing to do with, like, you, or this weird incel nice guy idea, or this Chad versus Beta thing. You're bringing in abusive relationships to a conversation that has nothing to do with them. Very, very strange.
Just gonna take this ass whooping on the chin and stay. You know, maybe I should make a joke out of domestic violence, but hopefully it's important that you guys recognize that, again, I'm not saying that women enjoy this type of behavior unless they're a masochist. Like, they do exist.
Even if you're a masochist, you don't want to be in an abusive relationship, you idiot. Like, that's a messed up thing to say about, like, the kink community, to people who are into, like, masochism or whatever. There's a complete difference between, like, in the context of, like, a consensual sexual encounter, being into pain or being into being, like, harmed in a controlled and safe way with a safe word, and someone being abusive. They're different things. Come on.
But what I want to be important is the fact that you'll see these extreme behaviors that women will accept, right? And then flip around and say that they're getting used for sex, right?
Thank you to Stone Corbell with 10 bits. People aren't 100% rational actors. They don't input stuff that's happened into the relationship computer and go, quote, oh, my current romantic relationship gives me 25% bonus to my financial status, but it's a negative 50 abuse modifier. I should end it. Yeah. Very silly of him to frame things in this way. Abuse by definition is unwanted, correct. Cat calling Gearbox says as a sub, I can tell you he is full of shit. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm losing the plot here, but I just wanted to talk about, like, let's move back on the TikTok, because I'm kind of all over the place here. Now, like, when I see videos like this on TikTok, there's like a part of me that, like I say, that kind of recoils a little bit, because my frame of reference is the opposite of this so much, just growing up in life and having friends that were females and talking to females and talking to women and listening to their experiences with toxic males, right? Seeing this, you're getting countered like by all this different stuff that you've seen, is just bizarre to me. It's just very, very, very strange, because it makes me wonder, how can you guys say that you like sex so much and then
because the vast majority of relationships and sexual encounters aren't abusive in nature. Do you get that? Do you think, like, most of the time when people go and have, like, intimate relations with people, trying not to get demonetized, I very much doubt I'm successful, but, like, when people go and, like, have, you know, consensual encounters, do you think most of the time it ends badly? No. You might not have great sex, but, like, it's probably not going to be abusive.
Constantly complain about the males that you're with? Like, where is the disconnect here? Like, what's going on? Like,
the disconnect is with you and your misunderstanding and your, like, misreading of the world in which you believe that the vast majority of sexual encounters people have are negative for the woman. Like, I'm not saying every sexual encounter for women is going to be, like, amazing and they're going to get a lot out of it, but I'm talking about, like, this idea that every single one is abusive, because it's not. Most of them aren't.
Something isn't adding up, and that's what I'm saying. Now, of course, different people are different. You have to take that. Like, some women are going to be, like, really, really sexual, and some women, like, really, really, really aren't.
Right, because women are human beings like men, and the same thing applies to men.
But the thing is, it's overwhelmingly women aren't. And I put this in quotation marks because clearly they are, but they put on such an air about themselves that they're not. Now, of course, I imagine that lots of women will say that this is due to the social pressure of ladies not wanting to appear as being sluts or being slutty or being promiscuous. But I have to say that there's a gigantic misunderstanding here as a woman if you think that it's reasonable to pretend to dislike sex when actually you're really, you know, getting me into all these toxic different behaviors and whatnot.
Dude, do you understand that if a woman shows sexual interest, and I know you're like, oh, but that's not the case. Yes, it is. If women show sexual interest publicly, a lot of people call them sluts. A lot of people say they're like harlots. They might not use that exact word, but they'll say all kinds of things. Call them thoughts. Call them, you know, all sorts of awful things.
No one is really gonna think that you're a slut because you enjoy having sex.
What? Do you live in America?
With a la one person. What makes you promiscuous is having sex with multiple people. And like when you broadcast it on the internet, like a lot of women don't grasp this. They do grasp this, but what they want to do is they want a two-step. You know, and I hate this with a hot, fiery passion, this two-step that women do. Women will dress in a very enticing and revealing way, and then they say, well, I just do it for myself. I wear...
Dude, just because you find something to be, like, enticing doesn't mean that's the intent necessarily. Like, if a woman is wearing, let's say it's hot out, and she's wearing, like, really short shorts, she's not wearing them for you. She's wearing them so she's not hot, because it's hot out. Like, not everything is for you. Do you understand that?
Wear makeup and whatnot, and I just do it for myself. And for a long time, I didn't...
Someone has some kind of link or something?
About the tools of capitalism.
UPenn professor calls for investigation following new SAT revelations by Trump's sister. That's funny. Yeah, Trump's sister basically said he paid someone to take the SATs for him. I don't know if anyone heard about that. Ask CompU with a bit. So according to this guy, you're a slut unless you dedicate yourself to the first guy you F for life. Yep, pretty much.
Didn't really grasp that concept because I'm like,
dude, do you consider other dudes who sleep with multiple women sluts? No, you call them chads, which isn't derogatory to you people. Do you see the double standard?
That doesn't make any sense. You can't see yourself
These people consider it awful that women talk about enjoying sex, but they don't even bat an eye when men do it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're hypocrites.
As you go through life. Unless you are so narcissistic as to where you just have a compact mirror and you just look at your face. You don't see yourself. Your appearance purely exists outside for other people to consume, and it's going to affect how they treat you, because it's just you, at your eyeballs see outward, they don't see the inside, right? You don't look at life in a third person view, nigga, right? This isn't a video game. It's not top down perspective. Oh, I gotta make sure I look beautiful for my avatar. It's not how it is.
Okay, but you can wear things and understand that you're wearing them, and it can make you feel good. Like, if I wear makeup, for instance, even though I don't do it as often as I really should or like to, because I'm lazy, I can't see it, right? I can't see it, but I know I'm wearing it, so it makes me feel nice. Like, do you understand that? Clearly, like, for instance, when I wear makeup, I don't expect anyone else to like it but me. I just don't. I have a very negative self-perception, which isn't healthy, but I'm just pointing it out. But I still want to wear it, because it makes me feel nice, even if I don't think anyone else will perceive me as such. People wear things all the time to make themselves feel good, whether you're a guy or a girl. Like, do you not understand that? Have you never put on, like, a jacket you really liked that you thought made you look nice and gone like, yeah, I'm feeling good today? If not, that's a shame. You should go buy yourself something nice that makes you feel good. Ask Compu with a bit. Yes, but this guy can't understand the concept of anyone doing something that isn't meant to benefit him. Yeah. I looked fantastic last night. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, so it's like, when you look at it purely logically like that, it's bizarre. It's bullshit. Like, so I changed the parking lot because my phone overheated and I overheated and my eyes all red. I just noticed, and it's not a good look. It's hard. It's tough, man. So when we last left off, in the last cut, we were talking about the two-step that ladies do, where they will outwardly broadcast sexual availability, and then they'll...
Why are you assuming that if a woman wears something other than a burqa, that they're broadcasting sexual availability? Stop thinking everything is for you. It isn't. You narcissistic, selfish bitch. Stop.
They'll recoil and say, well, no, I was just doing it for myself. And like I said, I didn't grasp it, especially the whole makeup thing. But what I came to understand about women putting on makeup, or women putting on, you know...
Oh, God, he's about to say some really ignorant bullshit.
Their thought uniform. What they're really saying...
Their thought uniform. Makeup. Something women across the country put on every day to go to work. Because if they don't, then their coworkers are going to be like, you look sick, are you okay? Calling it their thought uniform. You fucking idiot.
Saying when they say I do it for me or I do it for myself, is I do it for my self-esteem to feel comfortable, right? What they're really trying to say is they feel like when they don't...
Oh, we're gonna put words in women's mouth. This should go well.
Don't wear makeup, they probably feel like there's something wrong with them. Like they're not presenting themselves in a way that's favorable to themselves.
Right, there's an immense social pressure for women to look a certain way in society. Like I said, sometimes women will, like, if they, like, wear no makeup... Let's even take it down. Let's say you're wearing a full face of makeup. People think you look nice. They'll be like, oh, you look nice, maybe. At minimum, or at maximum. They'll be like, oh, you know, nice. If you're wearing natural makeup, a lot of men will think you're not wearing makeup. And they'll be like, oh, you look so nice without makeup. And you're wearing, you know, foundation and concealer and stuff. And then if you don't wear makeup, there's some people who will come up to you and be like, oh, you look sick, are you okay? Because they're not used to seeing your face without at least natural makeup on. Like, there's immense social pressure because the bar is set so high for women that if they just come out with, like, their natural skin, people will be like, oh, are you okay? You look sick.
They probably look bad in their minds. So So when they say they put on makeup for me or myself, it's more so they feel comfortable in their own body. It's not really so much because they want to look attractive to other people, but because they want to make sure that they don't look bad. So
partially, and also people just like to look nice. The same reason a guy might want to wear a nice suit somewhere that's like formal, like, or to work. You want to like get a tie that's nice or something. I don't know. Whatever makes you feel that you look either professional or nice going out, it can make you feel good to do that. And for men, those things are a little bit different in terms of what you wear. Like I mentioned, a suit, and for women, it might be like a either like a nice like power business suit if you want to Hillary Clinton it up, or if you're wearing like a dress or a skirt or some makeup, stuff like that. Like people do this kind of thing all the time. Dressing up nice makes people feel good about themselves.
Really what a lot of women are doing is they're here normal because they think they're ugly, and all makeup does is it just pushes them just on equal footing, that they're just acceptable now, right? Now of course I would have to say we'd have to crank that one a step further to where, you know, if you start dressing in a revealing manner, there's you know, either you're foolish or you know exactly what you're doing. There's probably no real in between. You know, you probably are trying to obtain male attention there.
Fuck you! No! Listen, virgin bro. And again, there's nothing wrong with being a virgin. But clearly you've never talked to a woman before in an honest and open way. So why are you trying to act like you can read the minds of women when you can't even get in a close enough relationship with one to, like, have sex with anyone? Like, what? Like, you think that oh, I know the inner machinations of the female mind. And you're like 30, and you haven't even been close enough to a woman to sleep with one. Like, where do you get off? Not in a woman, that's for sure.
But as far as
Nick Snort, thanks for subscribing. 4-month streak, I appreciate that.
makeup is concerned, I accept what women are trying to communicate, that makeup makes them feel normal, you know, quote unquote, rather than they're wearing makeup because they want, you know, to bring in more male attention. I think the revealing clothing, there's not much argument there. Twerking, not much argument there. And broadcasting sexual availability, I would have to put in the category, not much argument
Shylock
there.
with 200 bits. Good joke. Have bits. Oh, hype train. Woo! You me Devin? I think. Thank you for subscribing.
Nothing funny about the
Hype train!
There's no way, like on the whole TikTok thing that I'm showing you guys. But right, the thing is, you know, these women, they'll make these TikToks.
Thrash Mio with 30 bits. Thank you.
And of course, they are broadcasting sexual availability, obviously, to high status males, to males that they want. But the thing is, mostly being creepy, here's what's interesting thing.
Shamrockstar, thanks for the 15 bits.
Want you, not necessarily your actions are strange or bizarre, unfortunately. That word should be reserved for other behaviors that are strange and bizarre and unbecoming. But really, it's just that, you know, you tried to spit game to a woman and she thought that you were ugly. You know, maybe you were nervous.
It might not be ugliness. In your case, again, dude, you're not ugly. It's just your inside personality that's ugly.
Or something, but you just cranked that bit up to 12 because you were ugly. If Chad was nervous and she thought that he was a beautiful human being, she was finding it to be endearing. We all know
Shamrockstar, thanks for another 14 bits.
this, okay? Or at least we should. If you don't know it, you know it now. You know, like a huge portion of like approaching or trying to communicate with other people, especially with women, as much as they like to say that they care about.
Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Appreciate that. And thank you, Bitterest Buggy, with 20 bits.
Personality. It is genuinely being an attractive person. That's just kind of the long and short of it. You just have to accept it. That's just how human beings are.
Like, dude, I'm not gonna say that attractive people in society don't have an easier time. I think that's true. I think that's true to an extent. But you're acting like you're ugly. You're not. You're like an average looking dude, and you could be above average if you just did like a haircut and like trimmed your beard a little more equally so it's not so frazzly. Like, you are not ugly. Why do you think you are ugly? Because people don't want to deal with you? That's not because of your looks, it's because of how mean you are and how awful you and the awful way in which you view women. Antipodian Squid with 600 bits. Joke's on this guy, I only started feeling good in makeup after I came out as agender. Well, there you go. MW1642, 200 bits. Thank you very much. Oh, we're at 54% of level 2.
Rage against the machine as much as you want. That's just how it be. The problem isn't that that's just how it be. The real problem is the fact that, like, women aren't understanding that, like, they are broadcasting, you know, a message out there that every radio is receiving and picking up, right? And without the knowledge of understanding that, of course, women only probably want realistically 30% of males available. Like, that's a realistic take. You know, 80-20 is too much. 90-10, way too much. That's a little realistic.
Dude, what? No. Like, if you want to talk about, like, people wanting, like, attractive partners, I'm sure most people want an attractive partner, but that doesn't mean they're only going to go after supermodels, men or women. Like, that's not how things work, right? People date people that they know. People date people that are available. People don't go like, I would date you, but I'm holding out for a supermodel. Like, that's ridiculous. That's just not how people function.
Realistically, it's more women want the top 30%, 35%, you know, and which isn't good.
If we did a poll of all men, do you think that they're going to, let's say we showed them random pictures of, like, average women, and then we had, like, supermodels or, like, actresses or something, and we said, who would you be more likely to date? Do you think that the men aren't going to be like, well, I guess I'd probably, just based on the pictures and not any personalities, probably want to date the people they find more attractive? That's true for most people, I think. Men and women both want to have partners they're attracted to, but physical attractiveness is not the end-all be-all of how relationships work in the real world, right? You can be attracted to someone who isn't a supermodel. Most people are just average looking. That's why it's average. But what makes you attracted to someone is not just physical appearance. It's like who they are as a person, their interests, like who they are inside. These things are incredibly attractive as long as you're not a shitbag. So what, I don't understand what his criticism here is. Like, I imagine if, like, someone who this guy considered unattractive, a woman who came up to this guy, who he considers unattractive, and they were like, hey, do you want to go on a date? He's probably going to say no, because he's not attracted to them. Wouldn't that make him a hypocrite? Is he not doing what he's, like, accusing women of? Making determinations based on some standard? Antipodian Squid with 100 bits. I only date people in the top percentile of Rattata. DM Trey. Yay, I finally got a call back for a job interview. Hey, good job. We're at 59% of the level 2 hype train with under a minute left.
It's not a good thing, you know, but you know, it's not really, you know, that's not really the point. You know, the point being is that it looks really bizarre to me. Like, if, like I said,
Ask Compu with a bit, but he doesn't see women as people, he sees them as NPCs that were made for him. It certainly seems like it.
Even though I can intellectualize it very well, it's still very strange to me when I see women, you know, say, hey.
Pizza is my dad. Hello, human female. I see that you have selected to wear clothing I find arousing. You are also in makeup. You have now initiated the human mating ritual. As such, it is our best interest to procreate with one another. Give this opportunity. Nah, brah. She called me creepy. What the fuck? Thought. Thank you. Chamber of Slime. Thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the hype train, everyone.
I want to have sex, or hey, I like sex like this, because like I said, my frame of reference is the opposite. You know, sex for women, relationships with males for women, very seldom is ever put in any positive light. Very seldom is a compliment nary ever given to males. And now every now and again, of course, the only time it is a great and wonderful thing is when a woman is recounting a tale with chat or a tale with a large penis. Like you, and it's always this extreme stuff. It's always large, you know, penises, which I say it frankly now, this video's gonna get demonetized now if the censor's watching up to this point, but that's a whole nother video unto itself as well. Like, I could really intellectualize that. No one would watch that video, no one would care, but we could talk about that, because that's an interesting thing to...
Hannah, I wear hats reloaded. Yeah.
To
Chad
discuss.
strikes again with the monster
I know that
dong.
shit sounds pretty gay, so no homo. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say here.
I don't think anyone thinks about penis more than incels. You ever notice that?
To wrap this video up, because I'm hot, is that it's really strange to me when I see women be outwardly sexual. And so this leads us to WAP. I was supposed to talk about this song, WAP. Wet behind female nether regions.
What is with these people and not being able to say this stuff? Like Ben Shapiro, Sargon, this guy. Like, why do this female genitalia scare them? Very strange. That's
the censored version. How would you even put an acronym? It would be WBFNR. That's not even a... You can't even pronounce it. So, the song, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's off to me because it's a very, very, very good song. What I mean by that is Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B have a very strong stage presence.
There's nothing funny about
they play their characters.
Antipodian Squid with 100 bits. It's because feminine sexuality scares them, Hannah. You know that, I suppose. Still, very strange.
Well, their metaphors were great. Their examples were fantastic. The sample hit. The thing that sucks about WAP is the fact that all that talent goes into something so debased and something so low effort that people just have no choice but to accept it. Like,
have you never heard, like, any other rap or hip-hop song before that's been about, like, bragging about sexual prowess? Like, male hip-hop artists do this all the time, too. Like, what? This is not something that's unique or new. There's tons of music that's about, like, I got a big dick. I fuck so many bitches, right? It's just that this one happens to be about, you know, women who are talking about getting laid. This is not something new. Captain Seculoid with 95 bits. There's some incels in this basement. I think one of them peed.
Saying I'm a woman that wants to have sex, it's like I said, I'm a strange individual. I don't know if anyone shares that cringy bizarreness that I have. I'm probably alone in this, but I recognize that other people probably are never gonna be like, wow, a woman wants to have sex, that's weird, you know?
Yes, because it's not weird. It's not weird. It's weird that you think it's weird. Tetsuyo Dragneel, big ass penis, BAP. There's an easy acronym for you. 5 bits. Thanks.
I'm sure most people would just be very enthusiastic to go into it, especially males. And because of that, it feels very low-hanging fruit, or very low, I don't want to say low value, but it feels very lazy to create a song. It's with so much skill. Like, these women have a strong stage presence. It just sucks that they can only talk about having sex. It's like, yeah, like...
Dude, like, when you listen to Sir Mix-a-Lot's I Like Big Butts, do you think the same thing? Do you think, like, oh, this Sir Mix-a-Lot, oh, I can't believe the Queen knighted such a degenerate who writes nothing but songs about how he likes large posterior regions. Like, what? What? There's tons of songs about boning down. There's tons of songs about things people find attractive. There's tons of songs about all sorts of degenerate things, whatever that means. Come on. Ugh.
That's easy. Like, it's the lowest common denominator. We all have reptilian brains. Only people who are
I can tell you one thing. I don't care if it's today. I don't care if you're a Roman citizen. I don't care if you're living on the moon. In 500 years, someone makes a dick joke, you're gonna laugh. Humans like their genitalia humor, okay? Get over it. It's funny. Bleak Anomaly, thank you for following. This is honestly, It's his honestly that the queen respected. Ugh.
Sexual, and even then, that's a whole topic unto itself, are really the people who aren't going to resonate with that. It's easy, but there's just so much skill that went into what these women did. It's like, damn, imagine if they actually talked about something with substance, they'd be fantastic. But instead, we get WAP. And really, more than anything else, what WAP really is it's a concentrated effort to show us that we've just created a generation of just prostitutes. And I just...
Or it's like a funny tongue-in-cheek song with a funny music video about wet-ass pussy. I think it's that one.
Just don't, I mean beyond OnlyFans, and I mean beyond streetwalkers. I mean, you have women trying to use sex as a bargaining chip to obtain something.
What? Have you heard the song? The song's about them enjoying sex. What?
Whether it be a relationship, whether it be free food for that time and day, women aren't having sex as its own experience with males to enjoy it with men.
What? Did you even listen to the song?
Even as its own experience to like have babies. And of course some people aren't. This is not everyone. Of course, but like generally when you look at the culture in general, you're a little more bizarre and strange, you know, especially if you're a young individual who wants to be like especially like a liberal environment, who wants to be in a family unit or who wants to have a good strong relationship. You know, you look like you're out of your mind, right? Rather than you look like, you know, like a normal person. So the thing is, like, and that's kind of I think the overarching issue I would feel with WAP is more that the fact that it's nothing different, it's nothing out of the ordinary, and that's kind of the problem. It's the fact that like it's gonna get to a point where like this whole prostitution, you know, slut-dom whoredom thing for a woman is going to be the benchmark for being a female.
Dudes spanking dudes. Even if this dude is saying woman using body to make money. No shit, because this is a capitalistic society. People need to eat, bitch. There's no dignity. We need money. True. Stay tuned for my feet pick only fans.
And that's really bizarre, right? Because not only is it a foolish maladaptation of what a lot of women think the male experience is. A lot of women don't have the empathy or recognize the male experience for most men is not being promiscuous. It's not having a bunch of sex. It's more commonly it's no one or one person you stay with for a long time.
Okay, and that's also true of most women, right? You get that, right? Hip-hop songs aren't supposed to be about, like, boring everyday life. It's like, here's a song about how much money I have. Here's a song about all the fornication I involve myself in. Here's a song about blah, 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 blah. Yep. Most people, they'll maybe have a few relationships in their life. They'll have different partners. Some people will have more hookups. Some people don't like that kind of thing. Some people will settle down. Some people never do. Like, people have all sorts of different experiences in life. Why are you assuming that most women are, like, promiscuous? You have no basis for that. It's just a weird incel trope. Ask Compu, is the Wheels on the Bus a hip-hop song? I'm sure there's a hip-hop version.
You know, and that's only, like, being able to be promiscuous is for a small portion of males. And so women, the only way they can be promiscuous is by going up to those guys who are going to be bouncing around from them, right? So you see how the cycle just goes on and on and on and on. And so that's going to become the default. And that's basically being solidified with WAP. What's being solidified with WAP is the default way to be a female is to be outwardly sexual.
Yes, I'm sure 1,000 years from now, when we live in a society with one Chad king and, you know, millions of women he just impregnates one after the other, truly, we will say the founding document of our society was the song WAP. What?
So much. But like I said, for people like me, I might be alone in this, you know, I might be the one lone male. It's very, very, very bizarre. It's very, very strange to see women be outwardly sexual when they spend so much time dogging.
It really isn't. It's not even new. Like, female sexuality has been, like, weaponized by capitalism for a really long time Do you not remember the Burger King advertisement with the burger and they're being all sexy, washing the car, and they're like, have a Burger King burger? Like, this is not new. It wasn't even new when that came out.
Males and talking about how males are using them or talking about their negative.
Oh, that was Hardee's? My bad.
With men.
Guess the ad didn't work very well if I don't remember that.
And very seldom is it ever a positive thing. And then even then, it's still the only positive thing they usually say is that the male had a big penis and that the sex was good. And that's another thing that's also strange too, is a lot of women will say they stayed because the sex was good or some nonsense like that, or because he had a big dick, but he was just so toxic and bad. And then it's like, okay, so then what do you really value then? You apparently have no integrity. You have no honor. I know I say this a lot.
Because no man has ever stayed in a relationship because the sex is good. Alright, bro, whatever you say.
But you have no integrity if you're just going to... I mean, you have no pride in yourself if you're just going to allow yourself to get used and mistreated like that. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to have to end the video here because it's really long and I'm hot and I want to go home. So that being said, I just don't know if you guys got something out of today's video. Probably not going to do this car stuff anymore because damn, it's hot. But if you did, man, you know, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon.
This guy, I'm torn. On the one side, the guy's awful, but on the other side, clearly he's just like nuts. Like he's got issues that he needs to deal with, but he never will. So I don't know what. I really don't know what to do. Just a very strange guy who links to their Social Blade on their YouTube channel. That's weird. If you don't know, Social Blade is a site you can use, you know, to, like, look at the stats for people's YouTubes and other stuff. Why would he link to that on his own? If you want to find someone's Social Blade, you just search it. You don't need to link it. Very strange. Cotton Candy 903, bringing up Honor immediately made me think of Prince Zuko. Alright, that's enough of him.